have some visitors.
Oh, hello and welcome. Morris and I do so enjoy company. Come on in. We have so few callers other than the Jewish families in town. Morris, why don't you introduce us?
I will. My name is Morris Mensor, and this lovely lady is my wife of 33 years, Matilda. We met in New York, and we were married December 1854.
Oh, Morris, it seems just like yesterday, and I was only 16 years old. So much has happened since, and so many children. We had 17. Can you imagine? I was so fortunate to find this wonderful, loving, giving man.
No, Matilda, I'm the fortunate one to have been able to have had you in my life to share with.
Oh, no, Morris wouldn't tell you, but he was born in Prussia, and at age 19 he left home to work in a factory in Hamburg, Germany. He started out as a laborer. In 6 months he was clerk, and in 1 year he was the foreman. Think of it, over 1,200 men, and my Morris, the foreman at age 20. Didn't I tell you? He's wonderful.
Well, the work was very important, and it allowed me to help my parents raise and support the younger children. I accumulated a few $1,000s, so I returned to home and I gave my entire earnings to my parents. They were truly thankful.
Didn't I tell you? Is this not a giving man? Then Morris decided to come to America. He left home with barely enough to cover the cost of his passage. But on the ship, Morris made money as an amateur musician.
Yes, I played a very bad piano.
Oh, don't believe him. When he reached New York, he sent $600 back to his parents.
Matilda, I just wanted to help my parents. That's what people did.
Oh, a good and giving man you are.
Enough with the giving already. Shortly after we were married, we moved from New York to San Francisco, remember? Where our first son, Abraham, was born.
There, we heard from my relatives, the Fishers, who owned one of the first Jewish businesses in Jacksonville, and they invited us to come work with them. So, with infant Abraham in my arms, Morris and I traveled all the way from San Francisco to Jacksonville on horseback. It was in 1855, during the Indian Wars. Very dangerous, but we made it safely. We were fortunate, yes.
We really are. I went into business with the Fisher brothers, her cousins, in the mercantile business in Jacksonville. A few years later, a couple of brothers from San Francisco, Samuel and Lippman Sachs, they came to town, opened a clothing store in Jacksonville. Sometime later, they moved back to San Francisco to expand their business, and they opened a store in New York. I heard they did quite well. The store was called Saks Fifth Avenue.
Yes. Later, Morris opened his own Morris Mensor's New York store in the brick Brunner building on South Oregon Street. Yeah.
It was a solid building. I mean, I'll bet it will be standing for years. Didn't I hear they were thinking of putting the town library there in the future?
They talk of many uses for that building, even a thrift store. Imagine.
For our store, our son Isaac would do Sunday afternoon strolls, dressed in the latest style clothes, with a high white collar, the latest model hat, and he would jauntily swing his cane through town. He put on quite a show.
Speaking of children, we did tell you we were blessed with 17, yes?
Yes, Mama, you did.
9 sons, 8 daughters. We all lived in a small cottage on California Street. My relatives, the Fishers, had 14 children. So you can see the Jewish population in Jacksonville grew and thrived.
Yes, dear, we had a very loving and wonderful family. Sadly, I was attacked with asthma. And despite your loving care and the children's and the tender love you gave me, during my 2 months of illness, I passed on April 11th, 1887, 3 months before my 75th birthday.
I was only 49 when Morris passed. So long ago. Fortunately, I had the support of our older children, as I still had 7 children ages 15 and under to care for, and little Emma was only 3. Our Mensor family and our good friends, the Muellers, who are buried right here, and the Karuskis, were the only Jewish families to remain in Jacksonville. You know, when the railroad went to Medford in the 1880s, it was not good for Jacksonville businesses. Morris rested briefly here in the Jacksonville Cemetery. Now we both rest in Salem Memorial Park outside San Francisco. It was a family decision to move us. The people of Jacksonville kindly allowed the Jewish section right up there on the hill to remain tending to it all these years. Aren't we all fortunate for that? Yes. In April 1932, I passed near to the day that my Morris died 45 years earlier. I lived to be 94 years old. Can you imagine?